So what is brand story? Usually it is misunderstood to be what the brand does or what is the core objective of the business. The cliched brand story looks like we are an innovative firm that helps our clients achieve success. That's not a very compelling brand story. It's literally the statement that you will find on any website that you open on Google. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and family. To understand brand storytelling better, the first thing that we need to understand is the importance of relationships. Relationships are built on the basis of stories. Storytelling has been used by humans for over decades to build good relationships. We don't associate with people on the basis of who they are. We associate with people on the basis of the kind of perception they create, and that perception is created with the help of the stories they tell about themselves. Because imagine you meeting someone for the first time. Do you really know what they say is true? No, but you believe them on the basis of how believable they make their story. The same logic applies when it comes to building a story for your brand. There is also a study done by Harvard Business School that talks about how people are willing to pay more for the brand that they feel related to. So it's a very key factor in any brand story to make sure that the story establishes a relationship. There are some common mistakes that we all do as business owners. Trust me, I have done this when I just started running a business. The first and the most common mistake is that we feel that we are going to cater to a lot of different type of people. So building one common core value is not going to be beneficial to us. But that is where we go wrong right at the first step. It is possible to find one common core value, and only brands that have found that one single common core value have been the brands that succeed. Let's take an example. Nike has the core value of performance, and that's it. There are no other core values, and still we all know how big Nike is. The second common mistake is lack of consumer understanding. We try to draw core values, we try to understand the consumers from an outsider's perspective or on the basis of the knowledge that we have about the market. The best way to understand your consumer's mindset is by actually talking to your potential consumer. It's really great to build surveys or actually go to the potential customer and talk to these people to understand what they feel about the current market situation in whatever field you look forward to start your business. Ask them what their pain points are, what the current players in the market are not offering, what they would like to get more out of the market, and that's when you will find the right gaps to fill. And the last and the biggest mistake is not keeping our egos aside. As business owners, trust me, we come with big egos in the room. We feel we know the market better than anyone. But this bias has been broken on numerous occasions for myself, and I feel the good ones have felt this too. There is always something more to know about the market. There is always changes in consumer behaviors. If we haven't observed it yet, it is yet to come. There will always be something that we don't know. And that's why a lot of times when we get feedback from clients that I cannot resonate to it, or hey, I don't feel the vibe, we tend to see it as a red flag in clients. Reason being, the client is seeing that from a personal perspective, while we have provided data as to why it would resonate with their customers, and then we have taken a specific design decision or we have taken a specific call on a campaign that we would like to build for a client. And when the client is not ready to keep their personal biases and their personal ego aside and see it from their customer's perspective, we see it as a red flag, because that's always going to be the case. And that is always going to keep the good campaigns, the campaigns that would really create an impact under the hood, and only the campaigns that this one person can relate to are going to keep going out, which is not going to do any good for the brand. That's why keeping our egos aside as business owners is very, very important. Only then can we open our eyes to the real world out there. Because if we are filled with ourselves and filled with our biases and narratives, we are never going to see the real picture, and that is never going to help us build great brands. Okay, now I know I've spoken a lot. So now let's get into the real activity of building a brand story. Before building a brand story, we must know three types of storytelling that are there, that exist in the world. The first type is very famous. It's designed by Joshua Campbell. He has talked a lot about it in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. It's a great read. You must definitely read it. The second type of storytelling is the bridge, where we connect the means with the end. This is the most famous types of storytelling that we must have seen across the world of advertising or branding. People connect the product's benefits or the product's impact to the final result, or the product's qualities to the kind of change that it will bring into the customer's life. The third one is the most sensitive one, and that's the troublemaker. This one is where you have to deal with care. You have to be very smart about the way you tell the story, but you also have to be bold enough to take some brave decisions to reach where you want to get with a customer. So now that we know the three different types of storytelling, here's the catch. Building a brand story is a mixture of these three. You can't just pick one and build a great brand story. I'll tell you how it's a mixture of the three. And the core of it lies in the first technique. That's the journey of a hero. So the first thing we need to understand, coming back to the point of keeping our egos aside, the journey of a hero is not our journey as business owners. It's not the journey of the brand. The hero is the consumer. The journey of the hero is your consumer's journey. We are just the means. We are just the supporting catalyst to help them achieve greatness. The hero's journey is basically the cliched journey of a hero from the point of awakening, of realization that they need to achieve greatness, and then they go through that rigorous journey to greatness and they finally achieve it. And that's your customer. Through your story, the customer must feel that awakening that, hey, I need to achieve greatness, and then that customer must embark on a journey to achieve that. In the middle lies your product, where your product helps the customer achieve the goal. What is the goal? The goal is your happily ever after. The goal is your core belief. If we take the example of Coca-Cola, the goal is happiness. And how Coca-Cola tells a brand story. If you see any of Coca-Cola's brand campaigns, their branding, their brand messaging, it all talks about the ways in which their consumers can achieve happiness. And Coca-Cola is just the means. That's how you make the consumer the hero and your brand the catalyst. Once you've figured this out, now you can talk about your origin story. How did you get an idea of doing anything that you're doing, and what inspired you to go deeper into it? So let's talk about something personal here. How did I get into branding and marketing? As a kid, I had a very weird habit. When we used to have our meals, we always used to watch TV. And whenever we used to watch TV, I used to always watch all the commercials with the same level of interest as I watched the main program. And I also got scolded by my mom a lot of times about that. Ad bhi itne interest se dikhta hai. When I grew up, when I was 19, 20, that's when I realized, oh, that was my real interest. That's the reason I used to watch ads with so much interest, because I love branding and marketing. I love advertising. I used to love to see how people are telling great stories within a time span of 3 minutes. I started researching, I started reading about it, and that's what has just kept me going and going deeper into branding and marketing. Now that's my origin story. Similarly, you will have an origin story. Similarly, there will always be a story behind what inspired you to pursue what you are pursuing. That's the story that needs to be out there so people can relate to it. There is one thing that people universally relate to, and that's ambition. So as a business owner, your ambition needs to be out there. The next part is the aha moment. It's the moment at which you realize that what you're pursuing, a business can be built around it. That's where you found the product to market fit. So one of my clients runs a business in the pet industry. This person was the first person to start a dog cafe in our city, and it was a very new concept in India. People before that had never imagined that there can be a place where you can go and hang out with dogs. This person's aha moment came at a very unexpected time. So this person himself is a dog owner and he's an avid dog lover. One day he went to walk his dog in the morning. There was a poor girl who was probably a beggar who was walking around the streets. She asked a dog owner if she could touch the dog, and that woman shushed the girl off. off. She was like, hey, don't touch my dog. And then the girl came to this guy. She asked him if she could touch the dog. And he let her. He was pretty open to letting his dog interact socially. And he didn't feel anything about letting a poor girl touch his dog. And that's when he perceived the idea of his dog cafe. If me letting her touch my dog gave this girl so much joy, there are so many people out there who want to own a dog, but they can't for XYZ reasons. The biggest reason is the city that we live in, there are pretty small houses. Even the big houses over here are pretty small. So what happens is accommodating a dog in such houses is not very comfortable for the owners as well as for the dog. And the idea is a great hit. People love the place. In fact, even specially abled children, specially abled people come to that place because spending time with a dog is really great for such people. And then comes the final stage. Here's where the elements of bridge come into the picture, where you show the testimonials. You show the audience how your idea is creating an impact when it's taken to the market. That's where trust is built. There are 100 different ways of conveying testimonials and showing success rate. And it's very important to show this because people believe in past precedents. People will not believe you out of the gate unless and until you have proven your ability on a smaller and a larger scale, depending on the scale of your business or the stage at which your brand is. The more authentically you build, this last part defines the amount of trust that people will invest in your business. And as we all know, trust is one of the cornerstone of any relationship. To end this video, I would like to give you all some stats. Firstly, 70% of emails sent by brands are not opened. 99.9% of banner ads are either skipped or ignored. And the remaining 30% of the emails that are opened are by the brands who have invested time and money in building a relationship with the customers. Building a relationship makes the consumers open your emails, click on your ads, and spend more with you. Just remember that 70% of your revenues should be coming from your retained consumers. It will help you save a tons of marketing budget on finding new consumers. There is an age-old saying that money is the lifeblood of business, but I think now is the time to change that saying to relationships is the lifeblood of business. Because the deeper your brand's relationship is with your customers, the more amount of time and money they will invest in your brand. Before signing off, I would once again like to remind you guys that we have a branding agency called Discovered, and that's where we help businesses get discovered by their ideal clients and consumers. So if you want to work with a team of experts that love branding, you must definitely fill the form given in the description below, and someone from my team will reach out to you guys as soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and family.